5K is late, yeah. Uber to your crib, I cannot wait.
Alright guys, so this short segment is going to be on my experiences as an Uber driver. I'm located in the metro Atlanta area, so that's where I normally drive. So my experiences as an Uber driver. So I've only been Ubering for about a month. I normally do it on the weekends. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, of course, is going to be your most busiest night. I prefer to do it on nights because I like to get those riders that have a lot of energy. A lot of them, you know, they're either going to the club, they're going from the club, they're going out to have a good time, they're going to meet friends. Have I had any bad experiences driving at night? No, not really. Surprisingly, I've heard horror stories about people throwing up in cars, people going to places that they didn't want to go to, putting in the wrong addresses, things like that. But I personally haven't had any of those experiences. If anything, I've had some of my riders just want me to stop Ubering and come into whatever club they're going to, which is pretty funny because I'm definitely not dressed to go in the club or a lounge or wherever crazy place that they're going. What times do I normally Uber? I normally Uber from about 10 o'clock until 2. Sometimes I've done it all the way up until 6 o'clock in the morning. Normally those people that are more in the morning are going to be people who are going to the airport, so normally they're taking a flight. And sometimes it'll be people who are going to work, so those early morning people who have early jobs. So anyways, normally, 10 is just a good time for me because that's normally when I would be getting off of work anyway. So I would just change my clothes in the car and just start Ubering immediately. So that's the time that I get off. So it's not like that's like a golden hour to go out Ubering on the weekends. I would probably say if you were going to start Ubering on weekends, 9 o'clock is probably a good time to start. That's when people are gearing up to go out. Or if they're not going to do a late night thing such as the club or a lounge, then they're probably going out to eat or dinner or something like that. How many people have I had in my Uber car at once? I've been totally packed, which means that my car is a Mazda 6. It is a Sport. It's a 2017. And in the back I can fit 3, and in the front I can fit 1. So yes, I've been totally packed. Uber Pool is when riders want to reduce fare, so they can get a cheaper ride if they choose to reduce fare or a decreased charge for Uber if they choose to share their Uber ride with someone else. It's not anybody that they know. So what Uber does is it kind of creates a route that people in the same area are going to. So they're getting picked up from a generally same location, and then they're getting dropped off in the generally same location. It does increase the ride time, but it decreases the cost to the rider. So some people see it as a cheaper way if they're not in an immediate rush to get somewhere, or if you are going to work and you choose to go a little bit earlier and you're not so much worried about time, you can choose to do Uber Pool. It's cheaper. People like to do it. They don't have a problem with it. I've never had an issue with people arguing in the car or anything. So people generally just keep to themselves when it's Uber Pool. People normally get in the car with their headphones on and they just listen to their music. But I do give them the option to listen to their own music. How do I have my Uber car or my car set up to do Uber driving? So the way that I have my car set up is I have 2 chargers. They're lightning cables because people are doing quick rides with me. Sometimes, you know, a drive can be 10 minutes. Sometimes I've had drives where it's like 25 minutes. So you want to make sure you have like a lightning cable or a really fast charging cable. This way when people get in the car, they're actually getting a charge. I have one for a Samsung Galaxy. So people who have different types of phones can use it. Not everybody is an iPhone user as much as I want them to be. And I also have an iPhone charger. But the way that my car is set up, if you charge your phone, you can actually link up to the music. So at the same time, they can listen to whatever music they have on their iTunes or whatever they're playing it off, maybe Pandora, whatever app you use to play your music on. So at the same time, they can charge their phone and they can play whatever type of music they want. I really don't care. I mean, it's their ride, it's their experience. And you can get more tips this way. Also, I always have like mints or either some type of candy in the car. Right now, I'm just having mints and Starburst people normally grab a couple, whatever. So it just makes them feel welcome that they're able to charge their phone. They can get a little mint or something before they hit the club. And then I also keep bottled water in the car. But what I found with that is it's been so hot here in Georgia. It's been like 80 degrees in the high 70s. And so as soon as I put the water in the car, of course it got hot. So nobody wants to drink hot water. I bought these little cooler packs, so I'm going to try that out. And it was like $6 from Family Dollar or Dollar Tree. You can get them really cheap. That's the way that I'm going to keep the water cool or, you know, cold from now on. Other thing that you also want to make sure is that everybody does not like the same temperature. Some people are cold-blooded. Some people are warm-blooded. So as a courtesy, you should always ask anybody who's getting in your car, hey, is the temperature okay? If they say yes, that's cool. If not, adjust it. And if they say yes, then say, hey, just let me know if you need me to change it at any point. I don't have any signs in my car. I don't even have a Uber driver sign, but that's something that I'm working on. Even though as an Uber rider, it lets you know who your driver is. It shows my picture, and then it also shows what kind of car I'm in. Just as an added reinforcement, I want to make sure that they know that they're getting in the right car. Have I had any bad experiences with Uber? I wouldn't say any bad experiences, but I've had some pretty memorable experiences. For example, you always want to make sure that you verify whoever you're picking up. That's not only for safety reasons, but it's also to make sure you're picking up the right person. So I had an experience where there was a congested area. There's this club like downtown Atlanta where a lot of people, it let out, and so a lot of people were standing outside, of course, trying to catch Ubers. People have been drinking, so they're not really paying attention to what's going on. All they know is that they've ordered an Uber and there's an Uber driver, so get in the car. Wrong. So I pulled up and I said, hi, I'm Shannon, your Uber driver. Are you Jessica? The girl is just like, oh, yes. And her and her 3 friends jump in the car. 5 minutes after driving, I hear her in the back. She whispers to her friend and she was like, I think we're in the wrong Uber. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, so is your name not Jessica? Is no one in this car named Jessica? And they were all like, no. And of course, the guy that was sitting beside me is not named Jessica. I immediately pull over and I'm like, okay. I'm like, so are you guys not going to Buckhead? And they were like, no. So I think you guys are definitely in the wrong Uber. Nobody's named Jessica. You guys aren't going to Buckhead. Of course, this is my first time having this experience, so I didn't know what to do. So I was trying to look through the Uber app to see if there was another way I could select whomever I did have in my car. She never did tell me her name. So I just ended up having to make them get out. And I didn't do it in a mean way or anything, but I told them that there's no way for me to charge them. So I immediately canceled the ride, and then they gave me like options, and so I selected do not charge rider, because of course I didn't have Jessica in my car. So another experience I had was with this guy. It was about a 15-minute drive or so, and he was telling me about how he had got an Uber ride with some girl, and she was making, I guess, like she's the Uber driver, and she's making like sexual advances upon him. And she was like, yeah, if you give me $50, I'll look through the rearview mirror while you play with yourself. Right, play with yourself. And the whole time he's telling me this, I'm like, I don't even know why he's telling me this. Like, wow, but whatever. You can talk about whatever you want in my car unless you're just like being disrespectful, and then that's when we just gotta stop the ride. So anyways, he's telling me the story, and he was like, so I'm like, you know, I'm a guy, whatever, and she was cute, and it seemed cool and spontaneous. So he was like, I'm doing it. And then she turns around and she like puts her, and I'm like, how are you doing all this while you're driving? Anyways, but I mean, God knows. She was doing all of this anyways. And then she puts his hand on her breast, and he was just like, you know, it was so exciting. And so I'm like trying to like with him or whatever, like, yeah, okay, cool. So I guess you knocked something off your bucket list. So then all of a sudden he was like, so what do you think about that? And then he like waves a $50 bill in front of me. He literally had $50, and like he waves it in front of my face or whatever while I'm driving. I'm like, oh no, sweetheart, I don't do that. If you want to do anything to yourself, you can wait till you get home. Long story short, anyways, he did end up giving me a $20 tip. Free of charge. I didn't do anything, guys. I did nothing for the $20. Gave me a really good tip. I didn't feel at any point that I was unsafe because I know he was just telling me an experience that he had with another Uber driver. Even though he did proposition me, I didn't feel like I was in any danger or any mini danger, because after that he was like, oh, I'm sorry. He was like, I just thought, you know, it might be cool or whatever, spontaneous to do. I don't get down like that, so of course I told him no, and he didn't say anything else about it, and he was just talking about music and stuff like that. So we completely changed topics after that. Other than that, I haven't really had any other crazy experiences with Uber. I have had people that get in the car, they literally, hi, I'm Shannon, your Uber driver, and that's it. They listen to their music or just, you know, on their phone, on social media, whatever case. So cool ride. Sometimes I do like to talk. It depends on what kind of night I'm having, but I do like to talk sometimes. But I always make sure that I judge and I gauge how much interaction they want from me. If they get in the car and I introduce myself and they like go on a rant, then I'm like, okay, it's cool. I can open up and talk to them about whatever, or, you know, continue to engage them throughout the ride. If I tell them, hey, how's your night going? And they just say, oh, it was good. And then they get into their phone, then I just leave it at that. Because the last thing you want to do is annoy the person that you're transporting. Because at the end of the day, nobody likes to talk when they don't want to talk, but people like to talk when they do want to talk. So that's short and simple, to the point philosophy about Uber driving as far as interacting with the people in your car. And of course, you always have the option, if anybody is being vulgar or being disrespectful, you can always cancel the ride at any point and make them get out. And at that point, they can just get another Uber driver who can handle them, or they can hitchhike or call a friend, whatever they need to do. But I haven't had any of those experiences, thank God. What is the pay like? Again, I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia, metro area. So where I actually live is about 10 to 15 minutes from downtown, which I would consider about 10 to 15 minutes from Georgia State. On average, I make about $15 an hour, $16 an hour. It's in that range. It's pretty good if you're doing a couple hours after work, and if you're doing it a couple days a week, it starts to add up. So normally my average I try and shoot for is I just want a little bit of extra money. So it's been like $100 a week, and that's just doing 2 days. More about 3 to 4 hours for 2 days, you know, like Thursday or Friday, or Friday and Saturday, something like that. So I normally shoot to have like $100 a week with Uber. So if you do that times 4 for, you know, 4 weeks for a month, that gives you $400 extra. It is a lot when you think about it, because, I mean, if you already have a stable job or regular job, which I do, and you're making $400 extra on top of that, that's pretty good income. Like, that's the car payment, your half of the rent, extra bills that you're getting help with. Another thing about Uber is they offer Uber delivery. On the rider side, it's called Uber Eats, and on the driver side, it's called Uber Delivery. It's all encapsulated in the same app. If you're doing just regular Uber, where you're, you know, dropping people off where they want to go, you can also do Uber Delivery, and you're able to select that option if you're eligible for it. The way that Uber Delivery works is, you know, you'll get a notification that it's going to be a Uber Delivery. You'll go to these restaurants or facilities that have already partnered with Uber. And so normally a lot of the times these restaurants or these places where you're going to pick up the food, they have like a different line or a specific spot or location where the Uber drivers can park. The Uber Delivery, you always gonna, you know, make it quick, because people don't like cold food. I do feel like it's a lot more pressure doing Uber Delivery, because nobody wants watered down drinks and nobody wants cold food. You don't want to get a ticket, so find a good parking spot where you actually can park. You can go in. I always try to look for an Uber sign of some sort, and sometimes on the app it'll give you little instructions. It can either be from the person, or either it's from the particular place or restaurant that's partnered with Uber. Only thing about that is Georgia is now a hands-free state. So what that means in terms of driving is that you're not supposed to have any part of your body, hands, legs, whatever, thighs, touching your phone. So when you have these instructions, sometimes it's a little bit longer than what's in the display box, so you have to tap it to fully see the instructions on make sure you get the drink, or make sure you get ketchup, or make sure you grab certain things. So sometimes you need to tap that button, and even stuff like that I feel like you can get pulled over for. And sometimes even on the Uber app, I want to, you know, look at certain stuff on there or figure out where I'm going. And, you know, it's just very anxious touching my phone now that they passed that law. So just always be careful whatever you're doing when you're in that app and while you're driving. You want to go in the app, it's going to give you a little code, but it also tells you what the person name is. So for the place that you're going to, you want to make sure that you give them the name and give them the order number. So you make sure you're getting the right food. You don't want to grab anybody else's food and then get there, because they're definitely not going to give you a tip for that. So you pick up the food, review it, and it also gives you a list of everything that they're ordered. So if it's McDonald's, maybe it says McDouble, double cheeseburger, small fry, drink. So just verify that you have all of those 4 items. Make sure it's in the bag, make sure it's good, and then, you know, go put it in your car. It'll reroute you to the address of the recipient or the person who's going to receive the food. So Uber delivery to me is a little bit more complicated, because if you're one of those types where you purely just want to do driving, Uber delivery is not for you. First of all, the fares or how much you get paid to do Uber delivery is lower than what you would be getting just making drives. The thing is, Uber delivery, you normally have to wait, because half of the time when you go to this place to pick up the food is not ready. So you can turn a trip that's supposed to be 7 minutes down the road into something that's like a 15 or 20 minute trip, because you had to wait like 5 to 10 minutes on them to finish the food, which is super annoying. And then the other thing is you're smelling food. So who wants to smell food? Because you're immediately going to be hungry every 5 to 10 minutes if you're picking up food. Well, anyways, I know that's how my stomach works. Back to my other point. If you're somebody who just purely wants to drive, you have to sometimes get in and out of the car, which can be annoying. And then also while you're in the car, like me, since I'm new to Uber driving, I don't have anything to hold the food. So sometimes I had like 3 orders in my car, and it's like I'm trying to keep them in the front seat and something on the floor, and then I got all these drinks, and it's kind of sometimes hard to make sure the stuff's not spilling, make sure stuff's not falling over. So my suggestion is that if you do prefer to do a Uber delivery, which you can select to just do Uber delivery, is to kind of have something in the car where you can keep the food warm, the drinks cold, and just something to just kind of hold it up while it's in the car. So how do I dress to do Uber? Okay, yes, so that's I'm pretty bad at this, guys, because I know some people are like, oh, you want to be presentable and all of that good junk. I understand it, I get it, but for me, it's like I'm doing my own thing. So of course I'm not out here dressed for the club, but I'm also not dressed like I'm going to an interview or anything. It's more casual clothes, jeans, some sneakers, because normally sometimes I'll do something in between me catching rides. What kinds of people do I pick up? I pick up all types of people, all types of race, ethnicities, backgrounds. I've had business people who are on the phone talking to clients, like all types of things. So that's when it really comes into being versatile. You want to make sure that you're able to have a wide variety of music if they choose not to play their own, so that you're encompassing everyone that's getting into your car. So the thing about surge areas. Okay, so surge areas are supposed to be areas where there are a lot more Uber riders than drivers. So as an incentive, Uber will essentially pay out more for you going to these areas or being in these areas, since there are so many riders. So they want to make sure that they have decreased wait times while they're waiting for Ubers. So as an incentive, you get paid more to drive. So it'll actually show you in the surge area. It'll have a perimeter, a red perimeter in the area, so you'll actually know when your little icon goes into the surge area that you're actually in the surge area. It'll actually show you as well how much more the fare is worth. So it could say anywhere from 1.5 times whatever you would normally make. Whatever your fare is, it's gonna, you know, multiply by that number. So it can be like 1.5 or 2x. It'll show you. So if it was like a $4 ride, it would multiply it by 2, which would give you $8 instead of the normal 4, which is pretty cool. I've had experiences where I've done that. But I say don't go out of your way. Like if you're already in an area that's near there, then that's cool. But 9 times out of 10, if you do an Uber ride from that area, you're going to end up somewhere else. Like you're not going to end up back in the surge area. You see what I'm saying? Unless it's like a quick, 5-10 minute drive, then yeah, it would benefit you to go back to that area. And then it also shows you in that surge area how long the surge will last. So normally what I've noticed, like for me, since I do weekends, it lasts until about 3:30. 3:30 is a good hour because a lot of the clubs let out at 3. So between you know, 3 and 3:30, people are getting rides back to their houses or other places or after hour spots, friends' houses, whatever the case. So it lasts until about 3:30. And I'd say it begins about what, like 2 o'clock or something like that, because those are like peak hours. Essentially, I just use it as like a little part-time extra income. You can also use it as a networking opportunity, connect with other people, and you know, just get out of the house, get to know the area that you're in a lot more. I'm not from Atlanta. I've been here for 3 years, but I'm horrible at navigating without GPS, and so for me, it's created a way where, you know, I can get to know a lot more of those uncommon places that I haven't been in this city. I encourage you to read other blogs, read other articles, look at other videos to get more information on Uber. Try it out and experience it and see if it's for you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, guys.